You notice it in small moments. When people your age are laughing loudly, you feel slightly out of place, like you arrived too early or too late to the room. There's a quiet embarrassment in realizing you feel more tired, more reflective, more done than you think you're supposed to feel. It doesn't feel dramatic to you. It feels factual. You don't usually say this out loud. Admitting you feel older than your age sounds self-indulgent or like something you'd be judged for, so you keep it private. You let the feeling settle somewhere behind your ribs, unnamed but constant. Society tends to misunderstand this feeling. When someone says they feel older than their age, it's often labeled as negativity or seriousness. Sometimes it's framed as arrogance, as if feeling older means you think you're wiser or above others. Other times it's treated as a flaw, something to be fixed, lightened, or corrected. But none of those explanations match your internal experience. Because what you feel isn't bitterness or superiority, it's weight. Psychologically, feeling older than your age isn't about pessimism. It's about how your mind tracks consequence, meaning, and emotional cost. Your nervous system learned early to scan for what matters, not what's exciting, what lasts. This creates the sensation of having already lived through things you technically haven't. Because mentally you've already rehearsed them. You don't rush toward experiences. You absorb them before they happen. This trait rarely forms without a reason. It often begins in childhood environments where awareness mattered more than expression. You may have learned to observe before you learned to speak freely, to understand moods before understanding yourself. Sometimes responsibility arrived too early. Sometimes emotional unpredictability made attunement necessary. And sometimes you were simply the one who noticed more than it was safe to say. Silence became a form of intelligence. Modern life reinforces this pattern. Information overload compresses your sense of time and consequence. You don't move slowly. You process deeply. People who feel older than their age often share specific psychological traits. 1. Temporal depth. You experience time as layered rather than linear. Past, present, and future coexist in your thoughts. This makes simple choices feel heavier than they appear. 2. Early, emotional calibration. You learn to read rooms before you learn to relax inside them. Tone, silence, and shifts register instantly. This awareness rarely turns off. 3. Low tolerance for superficiality. You don't dislike people. You dislike emptiness disguised as connection. Small talk doesn't bore you, it exhausts you because your mind is already elsewhere. 4. Internalized responsibility. You account for outcomes instinctively, even when no one asks you to. This creates a sense of being older than the moment you're in, like you're already living with the aftermath. 5. Emotional containment. You feel intensely, but privately. Your emotions move inward before they move outward. This restraint often reads as maturity, but internally, it's simply regulation. This pattern isn't accidental, it's adaptive. In uncertain environments, depth becomes safety. Feeling older is often the byproduct of learning early how fragile things are. As time moves forward, this trait sharpens, not louder, clearer. What once felt isolating becomes coherent. Your inner world organizes itself around meaning, not noise. People like you don't age faster, you age inward. Your nervous system was trained for complexity, not speed. If you've always felt older than your age, it may be because you were built to carry time differently. Not everyone will recognize this in you, but when you hear it described this way, it usually feels familiar, like something you've always known, but never had language for.